Hey, what's up everybody? It's the Crypto Ginger here. I just wanted to briefly connect some more dots when it comes to R3 Consortium, the reach that they do have, and of course some of the information I might have missed from my last video where I actually talked about R3 Consortium and the Corte settler, which is an application built off of Corte, and that is a platform designed by R3. So a little bit of connections right there as far as, again, information from my last video. So if you are unfamiliar with that, definitely check that video out. I do have some connections as well as far as R3 and other companies that are working in the Italian sector. So again, check that video out. To give you a quick synopsis here, coming from r3.com, you can see that the Corte platform provides access to the world's first universally interoperable blockchain network enabled by Corte's privacy model. This means that businesses can transact openly and flawlessly with all their business partners without trapped assets or islands of information. So again, you can see that it is a platform. It is something designed for interoperability on a blockchain network for businesses to openly transact and flawlessly just as well. So I'm bringing this up because on this same site of r3.com, if you just scroll up, something very interesting here says introducing Corte Enterprise. And of course, some of the information was cut off on the right hand side, but I'll read it to the best of my ability. It says, Corte Enterprise is a commercial distribution of Corte, our open source blockchain platform specifically optimized to meet the demand of modern day business. Corte Enterprise is interoperable and compatible with Corte and is designed for organizations with exacting requirements around quality and services with network infrastructure in which they operate. With the choice between enterprise and open source, companies can now select a blockchain platform that fits their unique needs regardless of their industry, size, and stage of development. Look it up a little bit further here. This is coming from medium.com, and it is a little bit dated, as you can see, but it talks about markets are decentralized and software that runs them should be too. That's not the main point. I wanted to use the opening here where it talks about introducing Corte Enterprise. And then it states that R3 has just launched Corte Enterprise, a commercial distribution of the open source Corte platform. The world now has the ability to deploy decentralized applications to optimize today's markets, and to do so at a scale and with integrity. So a large focus on connecting to multiple companies out there with the ability for them to now create their own decentralized application off of the Corte platform just because of this Corte Enterprise. This is an article that I used in my last video where I talked about the connection between ABI Labs and R3 working on a project called Spunta Banca. Definitely check out the last video where I go into a little bit more depth detail. What I wanted to use was reference about this project and some of the companies as far as partners. It says here that the project, which being coordinated by ABI Lab, the Banking Research and Innovation Center promoted by the Italian Banking Association, seeks to implement blockchain in interbank processes. The project includes technical partners NTT Data and SIA, as well as R3's Corte platform. The objective is to provide data transparency and visibility, faster transaction execution, and the possibility of performing checks and exchanges directly within the application. So what I had missed really was going into some explanation behind NTT Data and SIA. The idea is that there is a connection between R3, NTT Data, and SIA, as well as you can see in this particular article here. Now, so to go a little bit further into SIA, for example, I want to use this older article here from r3.com. Mind you, again, it is older. It is from November 6, 2017. The idea is that even back then we hear of a particular partnership between SIA and R3 to accelerate the adoption of blockchain applications by 600 banks and corporates. So it's actually pretty big here. It goes into a little bit of detail stating that SIA and R3 have launched a strategic partnership aimed at speeding up the global development and adoption of blockchain applications by leveraging SIANet's 600 nodes provided to financial institutions, corporates, and public administrations. As part of the partnership, SIA will build a secure and protected network called SIA Chain, which will be integrated with R3's Corte platform to enable SIA customers to run core dApps, applications designed specifically to meet the needs of institutions across the banking and finance sectors. The first core dApps on SIA Chain will be available from the first quarter of 2018. So the article is a little bit older, but you can see that the process of this was actually something that took place at the beginning of this year, 2018. So again, the connection has been made. We see SIA working together with R3 in this particular partnership. And I wanted to then go into the connection between R3 and NTT. Here we have NTT Data, and you can actually check out their site on us.ntttdata.com. This is the other company I'd mentioned from the previous article regarding ABI's connection with R3. And I wanted to quickly go over some of the connections here. You can see that on their site that it does state, it's hard to read, but it says, "We are blockchain frontrunners." NTT Data is a member of blockchain-focused consortiums including HyperLedger, Enterprise Ethereum Alliance, R3 Corte, and Ripple. Put our expertise to work for you. So again, you can see the connections that are being made not only now with R3 but with Ripple, as you can see with NTT Data. Definitely check out their website. You can see it says we offer global blockchain expertise and cross-industry, cross-platform expertise backed by solution accelerators and a strong partner ecosystem. So they are most certainly creating a very strong ecosystem with the connections they have currently right now. Again, HyperLedger, R3 Corte, and Ripple. And I did check out a couple additional articles I found very interesting when it comes to NTT Data. Looking into this, here you can see this particular site from nttdata.com talks a little bit more about the fact that it joins the blockchain technology related organization Enterprise Ethereum Alliance. Now I'm bringing this up here because there is a little bit of a connection that I have found when it comes to not only this alliance, but of course Ethereum itself when it comes to R3 and possibly being something accessible through later on down the road, the HyperLedger Fabric, just simply through interoperability. So getting into this article, it does talk a little bit more about the Enterprise Ethereum Alliance, and the connection here states that the NTT Data joined the Enterprise Ethereum Alliance on October 2nd, 2017. The Alliance is an organization that examines the use of Ethereum 1 blockchain technology in the enterprise field. So you can see that the idea behind this alliance is to find a way for Ethereum to be a technology used in other forms of blockchain technology just as well. So to connect Ethereum a little bit further here, I wanted to use this article from hyperledger.org. It is a little bit dated, but you can see that HyperLedger Fabric back around the 26th of October started supporting Ethereum. And if you have any questions, definitely check out the site. It is pretty detailed. The information I wanted to quickly go over was this right here. It says, in the spirit of expanding choices, HyperLedger Fabric now supports Ethereum virtual machine bytecode smart contracts. Contracts can now be written in languages such as Solidity and Viper. Along with introducing a smart contract runtime, Fabric also has corresponding Web3 provider which can be used to develop decentralized applications dApps using web3.js. This new feature comes as part of the 1.3 release and is motivated with the goal to enable developers to be able to migrate to create dApps for permissioned platforms. So the connection between that, again, with the idea that we have the NTT Data, part of the Enterprise Ethereum Alliance, and we also have, again, Ethereum now being a part of the HyperLedger Fabric. You can see that there are going to be quite a bit of dApps being created, connecting together in some variant or form or fashion when it comes to these ledgers, such as the HyperLedger Quilt or even the Corte Settler. And of course, if you connect the Corte Settler similar to the HyperLedger Quilt, you can just see how expansive this is actually going to get. And this right here, I would imagine, is going to just be the very beginning stages. Again, understanding that the Corte Enterprise is designed to allow others to use the Corte platform to design their own source coded platform. Really, the sky's the limit at this point in time. All the companies that are attached to the HyperLedger could potentially start creating their own dApps if they wanted to, which will then allow them to connect together on the HyperLedger Quilt. So I understand that this is a lot of information. There's a lot to take in, and there's still a lot more to go over just as well. I'm just trying to connect a small handful of dots here and things that I missed from my last video. Definitely thank you for taking the time to watch this. I know it was long-winded, but again, thank you so much for paying attention to all this information, and I hope you have a wonderful night. Like and subscribe if you're new to the channel, and just as well, get yourself one of those Ledger Nano S wallets.